after a lot of back and forth trying to decide what exactly I'm going to do with my life, because I've often been intrigued by the question of what exactly do you value the most to spend the most of your time on that, and how can you possibly like be okay with dedicating the entirety of your life to it? It's just a big deal. Just deciding all of a sudden that you're going to cut everything else off and just focus so single-mindedly on one specific narrow field, which is going to be your lifelong journey and endeavor, and you're just going to be able to grow your expertise at that specific avenue. And I think the problem for me arises out of the fact that maybe it's not gonna be worth it, or maybe at some point I'm not gonna feel as motivated by that specific area of expertise. Maybe I'm gonna change my interest in the future. All of those questions that kind of pops into your head whenever you want to commit to anything, they are pretty annoying and they're irritating. And it's like you have to strike a balance between profitability and also your passion, what you're interested in, and also your values. Or like, it's a very tough decision to make. You have to kind of consider every aspect of the field you're picking. It's not like you just close your eyes and pick something just by the calling of your heart, just because your heart is calling you out on it, or something as vague as that. I mean, it's not a vague process. It's probably such a very measured and precise and exact process that you can make it so much more clear by putting it into proper categories and give them names, label each and every section of that specific field, or aspect of it, whatever it is. So you might say, oh, I value this, then you have to look at that aspect of it, and you have to figure out if that's really worth it, or do you want to spend the entirety of your life on it? Do you want to spend your days expanding your horizon on in that specific direction? Do you feel yourself really happy with that decision? Because it's tough to make a decision like that, and I'm very much on the verge of collapse whenever I try to force myself to come up with the decision as quickly as I can, because my life is slipping away. It's not, pausing for me to decide and then it's gonna just continue on after that. No, my life is slipping away in all sorts of ways, and I am not capable of stopping that wastage. The passage of time is going to be happening whether or not I like it, because it is a nature that you have to deal with. And right now, what I have so much trouble deciding is whether or not I'm gonna pick this field that I'm interested in, or is it gonna be very hard for me to plow through that, because I have so many doubts. I have so many misgivings. I am giving no attention to what I actually like, and I'm giving so much attention to the potential failure that might happen at that specific avenue. And what exactly am I going to do if the failure arises? All those negative routes that your mind will take you into in order to convince you that committing to just one path is in the way, but it's playing tricks on you because it's afraid of spending so much time on one specific field, which is not something you wish to care about. And so I guess what I am trying to strike a balance between is that there are things in my life that I really, really appreciate and I really love them. and there are things that I don't like, and I'd rather not deal with it, but it's like a part of my job. So I have to have a sprinkle of what I like in my days, but I have to treat it like it's a hobby. The moment I introduce those activities that I like into the other aspect of my life, which is called business and like money making and stuff, the moment that happens, the activity loses its interest, and I am completely just phased by it. It doesn't interest me anymore. It doesn't excite me anymore, and it gives me so much trouble mentally, because now I have nothing to kind of enjoy my time with, and all I'm doing is nothing. All I'm doing is just like attending to this business that I don't even like, and I'm just like racking my brain over it, and I don't have anything else to escape to. And that's been so freaking hard for me to like figure out what exactly I'm supposed to be doing, and how exactly am I gonna do it, because life is pretty hard. It's pretty hard. You make a lot of mistakes. I have made a lot of mistakes, but I'm sure that those mistakes are worth it. Like it's not that I'm regretful that I made those mistakes or I failed at some point in my life, because all of them are gonna kind of come full circle at some point, and it's like it's going to yield a better result, like a proper result. And like I would say I'm not gonna mess myself up with like making myself, like torturing myself to do something that I don't like for a job. And so a job should be so freaking like lovely and so enticing and attractive and gravitating, yeah, well, enticing, and what else, endearing, no, in whatever. Dude, I can't even find a synonym for enticing. What a life. Oh my god, I'm so bad at this. I'll have to finish this sentence though. Okay, so what was I even saying? Oh, I was talking about the fact that you have to choose a work, a business, whatever it is that you want to make money out of and you want to live by. You have to choose something that is so freaking, attractive, the idea to you, and it's fun to you, because if there's no fun in it, if there's no passion in it, then you're gonna give up. There's like this saying by, it's not even a saying, it's a quote by Steve Jobs, which says, if you don't like what you're doing, any sane person would eventually give up, because it's so hard and it's just gonna tear you apart. Yeah, it is gonna tear you apart, and I've experienced it myself firsthand. Yeah, I did, and it was horrible. I did not like to live anymore because I was doing something that I did not like, that I did with every fabric of my being, with every fiber of my existence. I hated it, but I kept doing it because I thought, oh, it's the best thing to do because I'm learning and I'm, doing this at the same time, so it's a good thing. No, it's like, no, you made learning so freaking dull and uninteresting now just because you're throwing it into this awful mix of poison. It's like, it's not going to turn into anything of value. So maybe don't do that. Maybe just do something that comes naturally to you. I'm not saying that you have to like take the path of least resistance. No, that's not what I'm pointing out to, because that's the opposite of it. But you have to choose something that, like, on the worst days of your life, you look to it. You look toward doing that. You know what I mean? It's like it kind of takes you out of your misery. If you are really miserable in that specific stage of your life, you're not going to like distance yourself from it because it's so hard and it's going to give you such a big like and heavy weight on your mental mental sort of structure. No, it's not going to be like wearing you down. Instead, it's going to lift you up. Instead, it's something that you kind of can't live without, and all you can think of, all you ever had the possible inkling to think about is that. And I was like, yeah, of course it might sound like a very silly job or something like that. Maybe it's just, it looks like your hobbies and stuff. So like any creative endeavor is going to feel a bit silly. You know what I mean? It's like nobody's doing it as an official job in a way. Not, at least not in the traditional sense, at least not in the conventional sense, because I've seen people, and I've seen those who kind of leave their profession just because they're kind of jaded by it, because the profession was not to their liking. It was not opening anything up. It was very predictable. It was just doing the same stuff over and over, not having any way to distinguish each task from the other, not having any way to distinguish even one day from the other. So every day is blending together, and the year goes by just by a blink of an eye, because you don't even feel anything when you're doing that. You're not personally connected to the work that you're taking on, and you're just losing it, right? And it's like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's not about whatever, like, it's not about gaining the most out of something just because, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point, but what I'm trying to say is that it's not like you have to think, oh, what exactly am I going to do that will turn me into this giant person who does know everything and who's the all-knowing and who's very technically dainty and stuff, who's very scrupulous and detail-oriented, all of that. How can I become like very, very high in that regard, in a technical way? Because like the most raves are about like the technical parts of jobs and stuff. So I don't even know what I'm talking about, dude. I know actually, but I'm not sure if I'm making sense, if you understand what I'm saying, because it sounds to me that my speech is kind of being a bit all over the place, and I'm not being very precise in what I am saying, because no matter what you try to say, at some point you're going to have this doubt at the back of your head telling you, oh, you were not supposed to say it like that, you were supposed to put it differently, because people are not going to understand you, people are just going to be confused because you're kind of wobbly in the way you're structuring your sentences, and like nothing is making sense and stuff. That's what probably will be happening in my head all the time when I'm speaking, because I'm a high criticizer of myself. I'm the highest critique I've ever known in my entire life, and I'm like, I kind of kill myself over criticisms that I give myself. Like, I'm very harsh on myself, and that's why sometimes when I'm talking, I might say it 100 times until I am pleased by the way I'm sentencing it, So bear that in mind whenever you get annoyed by me putting one specific point into multiple guises and giving you this jumbled sort of podcast section. But whatever that is, it's okay. I can deal with it. I am not that disappointed by myself. Whatever. What am I even saying? Okay, let's get back on the main topic, because we're veering off track and it's not fun. I am feeling so freaking dizzy right now because I'm very anxious. I'm an anxious person, and whenever I'm talking, I'm like, the anxiety just goes wild. It engulfs my entirety, and now I'm like, okay, who am I? Am I the anxious bubble? Yeah, I am the anxious bubble, and I am about to burst into nothingness at any point, and any moment is a risky moment whenever I am putting myself in this situation. So Do not mind me going all over the place, because that's probably going to be happening all the time. So, with that being said, let's get back on track. What I was saying is that, please, for the love of God, please do this. Do not be so hard on yourself when it comes to your job. Have a little bit of creativity at the site, you know? If it's a very technical, highly technical job, then sprinkle a little bit of your own activities into it. Open up another field for yourself that you can feel pleased by doing it. If there's not one source of your life that gives you a little bit of like a break and escape, a way to just remove yourself from the nonsensical chattering of your brain and like your own criticism towards yourself and all of that, if you don't have that unique combination of activities that can shut that down and kind of bursts open a new world to your mind, so that you can like exist and reside in that specific world for a brief period of time before you go back to work. And then when you come back to work, you kind of have that bubble to exist in, because now you've created that bubble for yourself and all of that. So if you don't have that, then life is going to be pretty insufferable and boring and uninteresting, and it's going to be hard to live. You're probably going to be like, oh, what am I supposed to do now? It's like every single day you're just going to ask yourself, is this worth it? You're going to ask yourself that because you're not enjoying it. If you're not feeling like it's meaningful, what you're doing is meaningful, then you're probably going to feel discouraged. You're most definitely going to feel like you are losing every second of your life on nothing. You're squandering it away. You're frittering it away, not knowing where it's going. It's just going somewhere, and you're not even in control of it. That's life, dude. That's life, and it's gonna kill you. It's gonna beat you down. You have to find a way to beat it back down. You know what I mean? It's like you have to fight back, and the only way you can fight back is to not fight at all, which is to find another place so that you're not around the component that makes you want to fight. You know what I mean? It's like kind of that escapism that I just mentioned, and it's about finding that specific sort of flow that you can just slide into and just be freaking not even yourself, just to forget about yourself. That's it. Like, that's what we need. We're so freaking self-conscious and so obsessed about the thought of like the self, thinking that the self exists, but no, dude, it doesn't exist, because the moment you go into that flow state, you become one with the universe, because that's the reality of you. You are a part of this universe, and you're not like in control so much of yourself and your life. So like you have to let it move you. That's kind of like what the creative process does for you. If you're doing something and you're forcing your brain to come up with it, you're going down the wrong path. Instead of that, you have to let the world take you in a way. You have to kind of allow yourself to go with the flow and move along the waves and wave it out, whatever. That sort of feeling of detachment, not knowing that you are you. You know what I mean? It's like becoming one with it, kind of getting into a very existential, beautiful state of mind, which makes all the worries go away, makes all the problems shrink into nothingness. That is what I'm talking about. It's like it kind of feels like you're drunk in a way, which is totally the phase, the state I've been kind of, I don't know if I can do that, if I can say that, but it's definitely something akin to tapping into your subconscious. It's as if you're like losing your consciousness and you're in a state of dream, because now it's like totally focused. When you're totally focused, you're not too conscious, right? It's like you're removing your consciousness, you're not too aware. You're instead just allowing the subconscious to be immersed in a specific mood or a specific sort of like field of thoughts. It's like you're moving through a very invisible field of thoughts, and it's kind of pulling you toward a specific objective, and it's kind of like all happening by itself, and you're not forcing it. It's not a contrived process. It's much more like a flowy, fluid, very liberating and freeing process that you don't have to strain yourself too much to do this. And well, that's it, I think. I'm not going to talk anymore, and I'm going to leave you to that. Thank you for listening to me.